All right, so it's been some time since I've talked about Sneeko, and here we are talking about Sneeko with a very interesting topic, the red pill. Okay, as you guys know, the red pill is dead. Okay, and no, I didn't bring any flowers for the red pill because I never liked the red pill. The only thing that I would do if I went to the red pill's funeral is help bury the red pill. So, anyways, Sneeko talks about the red pill, and I kind of want to talk about some of the points that he brought up. Let's talk about it.
The return of YouTube has already been successful, and I see people talk about the interactions with the liberals of New York who are really upset about the red pill era. And they don't know that I pretty much slayed the godfather of it in a debate 2 years ago when the red pill was saying you need to get a vasectomy in order to be a high-value man so you could avoid women and not have children.
Gets douche nozzles like yourself to fucking have this conversation in the first place.
How old are you, bro? 2 years ago, I said this is really stupid, and I denounce all of this. Regardless, I do have the perception from a lot of people that I'm red pill manosphere, and people say instead of asking people to describe exactly what you said, just apologize. You said inflammatory things. You were controversial. You were upsetting. And I want to take this opportunity to apologize to absolutely nobody. I understand why people have that sentiment, but at the same time, I think people on the left who are upset need to have more empathy for the people who got so sick of all the nonsense that they fell for and that they pushed for the past 10 years.
Now, I do want to just mention really quick something about the left. As you guys know, back under the Biden era, a lot of folks on the left were canceling folks and were attempting to shame people who would bring up the topic of men. Now, it isn't as taboo to talk about men. As a matter of fact, I don't even think it's taboo at all. Now, both sides, actually, we're just talking about the left. The left has realized that, yes, we need men. We need to talk to men, and we need to understand where they're coming from. And I have shown you guys multiple times that when you guys go on the Democratic website, you guys go to the tab where they talk about the people they represent. And there's a couple of groups that are missing. Usually white people, men, and myself. For some reason, people forget to mention me. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, yeah, those are the groups of people that are usually never mentioned. And I think that it's important to recognize that, yeah, man, we need to include everybody, even white people and men. But for whatever reason, whenever we talk about white people, it's always in association with white supremacy, which I get it. You know, like there's that history. There are certain statements that are heavily associated with white supremacy that unfortunately some white folks, if they say it, they can get a reaction. Yeah, so whenever there's a topic, we need to address it because then you get ideologies like the red pill that conquer men because no one's talking to the men, or the white nationalist folks who are coming to influence white folks because no one's talking to them either.
They were wrong about so many things, starting from the Me Too movement to the aggressive lockdowns, cancel culture. All this went way too far. The fact that some people like me were able to swing the pendulum in the other direction by admittedly being inflammatory and provocative, that needs to be understood a little more. That being said, it was provocative. A lot of it was angry. That did change the perception that many people have. But I'm not going to apologize because the nature of admitting and taking accountability and the humiliation ritual that creators have to go to because the viewers feel like they own you. People are sick of the influencer routine, saying something that hurts people or whatever, the apology with the violin, the tears, the I'm sorry period YouTube video where they're looking directly into the camera, pressing the record button. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Instead of words apology, let's understand that people are human and there's nuances in everything. You don't own me, and I don't own you.
I don't think that Sneeko should apologize. And that's okay if he doesn't want to, right? Like, that's his choice. But I don't think he needs to apologize. But I think that it is important to understand that, Sneeko, you were caught by this ideology, which, again, like you mentioned, you're human. Unfortunately for Sneeko, he's in a position unlike anybody else where he does have influence. And so a lot of people who were listening to Sneeko, unfortunately, they listened to him and they attempted to apply a lot of that bullshit that had no substance to their life. Like, for instance, quitting your 9 to 5, trying to get rich off of crypto, which, if you guys don't know, 75 to 90% of people who try to invest or day trade on crypto end up quitting and losing money. So I can only imagine that a lot of the people that you tried to influence, they were bought into the hype, and a lot of it most likely inhibited a lot of experiences that they could have had if they would have chosen to just stay on course, the path that they were already on.
Although obviously it was very lucrative and beneficial and a lot of truth in it, the association with the Tate brothers has been probably the most detrimental relationship of my career. A lot of people want me to denounce them. They want me to separate completely. They say, finally, you're not doing the Andrew Tate stuff anymore. A lot of men do like it, not to discredit that. Hey, are you still friends with Tate? People aren't aware, because I wasn't on YouTube at the time, but there was a big back and forth last year. Disagreements about things happening in the UK and racial supremacy, yada, yada, yada. I publicly disagreed with Andrew Tate. He responded by threatening to end my career. Partially, there's a hint of resentment after doing so much to defend them when they were in jail especially. But overall, I try to focus on the amount of truth and the amount of good that they have done with their influence. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. But having to say that is stupid because nobody is.
Exactly. I do agree with Sneeko there, right? We're not here to really talk about perfection, nor should we mention perfection, which obviously, like he said, is stupid. But we do have to talk about the consistency of a person's character. And unfortunately, the people that you were hanging out with, they had a very consistent record of being completely wrong and full of shit. And I think that that's important to recognize, and we need to bring awareness to what that looks like. If you take a look at Myron, you take a look at Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, all of these people, you can see that there's tons of flaws in their logic. And completely dismissing a person just because they're criticizing one of your favorite content creators, if you consider one of those guys your favorite content creators, dismissing them outright will lead you down a terrible path. Just like Sneeko, because when Sneeko, like if you take a look at Sneeko's life, he went along with these people, right? He was in their circle, and what happened to him? What was it? He was like a Holocaust denier. I think at one point he was dismissing women and their intellectual capabilities. He lost passion for his creative endeavors. He got banned off of YouTube, banned off of Instagram, I think, or all these other social media platforms. He was a constant butt of many jokes, like that Moist Critical stuff, like that dude literally cooked them. And then I don't know if you guys know this, but Sneeko just recently had a debate with Myron Gaines, and then I don't know if he was trying or not, but he had a debate about white supremacy or white nationalism, and Myron did not know how to answer because he doesn't really believe in any of this stuff. He just goes along to get along. So yeah, no, I totally agree, and I'm kind of glad that nobody really follows the red pill anymore, because now we're talking to men. Now we're bringing more awareness, and you can even go on the search bar yourself and type up young man, Gen Z, don't know what to do in life, losers at 25, 35 or whatever, and you'll see that they're bringing awareness to this issue, you know, and I'm glad that they're doing that now, you know. Yeah, because I would rather have these news outlets bring up the subject of men and have a discussion about it, because they can bring on these researchers, these experts, rather than having someone like Myron Gaines, who literally has no substance to a lot of what he says. Yeah, it's like I mentioned, like if you go and you watch, you know, the videos where he helps men, a lot of people don't even watch those videos because they don't really care about being helped, you know. If you go to the after hours or after party or whatever he used to call that podcast, you would see that those are much more popular. That's where he yells at all these women to get out. All of that was just for show. Like, think about it. If you watch one of those episodes, you pretty much have watched all the episodes. So yeah, that's just something I really wanted to talk about. I don't know, you guys let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have people in your life that are still associated with the red pill? I know for a damn sure that I don't have anybody associated with the red pill. Nobody even brings it up anymore. So it's definitely not dead. It's just taken a new form, and I'm kind of glad that this new form is in the background and in the past where it belongs. So I don't know, you guys let me know what you guys think, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys.